I can, despite, everything going around and the criticism and the favorites and stuff like that.
Yeah. Many see Miss Earth pageant as more than a competition. For them, for some people, they liken it to a leadership program or a lifestyle. Why do you think a lot of people are saying that?
What was that? Sorry? I couldn't hear it well. Sorry.
I've been asking a lot of people of what their impressions about Miss Earth, and some of them are saying that for them it's more than a competition. For them, it's not only about competition, but it's also becoming more like a lifestyle
Mm,
or a leadership program where you get to be trained about a lot of what's going on in the environment. So I want to ask you, um, do you share the same sentiment, or
yeah,
why do you think people are saying that kind of feedback about the pageant?
definitely. I mean, part of winning like Miss Earth provides you with that platform. So, you really have to like do its justice and do it well. And I think along the way, you learn to just like do it in your everyday activities, and really advocate for change in your lifestyle and everything like that in order to bring about change. So, I've seen a lot of changes in my life because of Miss Earth in a good way, that helps the environment. But it's about doing the title justice, and representing it well, and actually using that platform to not only educate yourself, but educate others on what they can do, is such a big mission of what Miss Earth is. So, I can definitely see why people see it as not just a title, but as a lifestyle sort of thing. And it can be really life changing, um, at the same time.
Yeah, it's really good to see a lot of women coming together for a very noble purpose. For you, what is the importance of all these women like you coming together to help Mother Earth?
Yeah, well, um, for me, it's the beauty that I see in all of it is that we're all becoming united because it is a global issue. Not one country is not going to be affected by global warming, um, and the destruction of our earth. So, um, which is why like it's a global issue and we need a global response from everyone. So for me, I think it was so beautiful to see everyone come together with that same mission, with that same purpose, same drive, same passion, and to really generate change and to see that not only in our own communities, but in the communities that we are able to reach with the platform of Miss Earth.
I see. Do you think Miss Earth will still be able to do that? Make a lot of women come together for a very noble purpose, despite what's going on right now. Do you think Miss Earth will still be able to push through with their edition this year,
This year.
international
That's
edition?
yeah. That's really tough. I don't know if like pageants will still be able to go on this year. There's definitely like I would hope that there would still be ways of girls being able to use the platform to reach out to people online, but I'm not sure about, there would be obviously very strict regulations and stuff like that put in place for like public events and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Is Bini Bining and Miss Universe Philippines still going through this year?
Binibining Pilipinas is postponing the pageant
Mm-hmm.
this year indefinitely. They're
Um,
hinging their decision based on how everything will turn out
mm-hmm.
in the next few months. While Miss Universe Philippines has also postponed the pageant, but it has given a new date for it, which will be
Mm-hmm.
on October 25
Oh,
this
okay.
year. So 5 months from now. But it will all depend if it will be held in a grand arena like MOA Arena or probably in a studio because of everything what's going on.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
broadcasted.
But as for Miss Earth Philippines, they're toying with this idea of conducting a virtual pageant. So I want to
Uh,
ask you,
uh-huh.
are you aware that this year's Miss Earth will be a virtual pageant? This year's Miss Earth
No.
Philippines.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
That's new information to me. But yeah, I figured that they probably wouldn't be able to like actually hold a public event. So I sort of thought was speculated, or they might do something like a virtual coronation night or something like that. But yeah, this is all new, like news to me.
Mostly mostly their activities are online. The talent competition, the best
Wow.
costume competitions are all done online right now, with each girl trying to be creative as how
Wow.
she will be able to pull it out or execute it in front of her laptop.
Computer screen. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? It originally the finals was to be held last month, but it has been postponed as well
Mm.
to a later date. So, what are your thoughts about Miss Earth Philippines doing a virtual pageant?
Definitely like pageants and the advocacies are still relevant even through this pandemic. It's still important that we advocate, the missions of Miss Earth and everything like that. But obviously, like safety first. So if it means that we have to do it online, then so be it. It's such a like new thing for everyone. Like none of us have ever gone through a pandemic in our lifetime. So it's all new to all of us. So it's going to be interesting to see how different organizations play it out. But I would personally love to see it online and still happening. It might be like the way of the future, who knows? But it could be, yeah, very interesting. I like support
Okay.
them. I would, yeah.
Mm. Okay, because a lot of people are questioning not the timing of Miss Earth in conducting its virtual pageant because because of everything that's going on. So, um, do you think pageants like Miss Earth are still very much relevant in these uncertain times?
Yeah, like our mission is to really like protect our planet, and amidst like the pandemic, I know that it's not the most like it's not something that everyone is prioritizing at the moment, but that doesn't mean we should forget about it, and put it aside. I think if we can do it safely, and properly, then I support them doing it online and virtually. But I think the mission of Miss Earth is will always be relevant because it's to do with our planet Earth, which is our home, our place of safety and refuge, and everything like that. So um, I personally think it is still relevant. How they conduct it and how they do it will be challenging, and I just hope that they have the safety of the girls, and everyone part of the competition, at the forefront of their priorities and stuff like that.
So you're still very much for it.
Yeah, I think like if they can do it safely, then you know it's a relevant issue still, and I see no harm in them still conducting like a virtual pageant.
Okay, because I asked you this because I don't know if you're aware of it, but Miss International organization has just announced that it will be postponing its pageant until
Mm,
October next year.
next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
So we've also been hearing rumors that Miss Universe might also be held next year. So do you think Miss Earth should still push through with its international edition?
It really like depends on like how COVID pans out.
Hmm.
It's such a difficult thing to navigate because, like I said, this is a new thing that none of us have gone through. Um, but if not like a coronation night, I would love to still see girls representing their countries and still doing their little activities online, sharing their daily activities of how they're able to contribute and to protecting our planet Earth. Um, but obviously, like the safety of the girls is what's most important. Um, yeah, I don't know if it will become too difficult to do the whole thing online, but if there's still a way for them to still promote the conservation of our earth, then I hope that they can still do it, but definitely with safety as the priority and looking after the girls.
Uh,
Yeah, like it
Okay.
might mean like no coronation night, but if the girls that represent the countries can still post their activities online, I think that would still be quite inspiring to people who follow Miss Earth.
Yes. Yes, for all those Earthlings,
Mm-hmm.
those rabid Miss Earth fans, yeah, they could always do that. Support their girls, their whichever girls that they are supporting to do their best for this upcoming competition. So speaking of the girls, what advice could you give them? Since you've been there through it all, what advice would you give them right now at this stage of the competition?
Um, definitely there's like the physical aspect of it, preparing yourself, training for it. Um, but mentally, like you have to be so strong. And really, like no amount of like preparation is really enough for all the moments of self doubt that you'll experience throughout the pageant and being on such a big platform and everything like that. But just having good foundations, like mentally being prepared and being a strong individual and believing in yourself, I think are really good qualities and traits to sort of pick up before the pageant. And then obviously there's the catwalk. And promoting your advocacy. So there's yeah, I feel like having being mentally prepared is one of the strongest kind of assets that you can have going into the pageant.
Great advice. I'm sure a lot of girls are taking that to heart right now. Yeah, so um, you grew up in Australia, obviously. So, uh, hasn't it affected your views and disposition in life? How has living in Australia shaped your life and become
Yeah.
that person that you are talking to us right now? Very level headed, very sane, down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you visited Australia before?
Back in 1995, so that was more than 20
Oh,
years ago when I was still probably 13, 12 years old. I was with my
yeah.
grandma along with my cousins. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a tour: Sydney, Brisbane,
Yep.
Canberra, and Gold Coast.
Yeah. You didn't come to
Yeah.
Melbourne like
Oh
where
yeah, we
I'm
also
from.
went to Melbourne. I remember it's very much like San Francisco. There are trains in the middle of the streets.
Like trams.
Yeah, trams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fondest memory I could think of when it comes to Melbourne. That, and all those stuff I've been watching in MasterChef Australia.
You're a MasterChef fan.
Yeah, I don't cook, but I love watching
Mhm.
the show. I really love the
Yeah.
edition. I really love the Australian edition of MasterChef. It's really good. The
Yeah, it's
contestants are
something
not
else.
fighting with one another, and the level of food that they produce is really whoa in
Yeah.
another level.
This year
Yeah.
in particular, like I don't know, it's just so different this year. Um, and I've got some favorites already, but it's such a good show. I love watching it. Do you have favorites?
I haven't seen the latest season yet. I heard they came up with
Okay.
an all-star edition. The last season I
Mm,
watched was season 8, and right now, after this interview, I'm gonna watch a rerun of it on my cable TV. Season 8. Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's so
yeah,
addictive.
so how it is. I think it's the only show that I watch now.
hmm
Yeah, for 3 years now because I lead a very busy lifestyle. So whenever I get to watch TV, it's either that show or Netflix.
Or Netflix, yeah.
So how is it? How has living in Australia shaped up your life?
Yeah. Well, you'll probably notice it, like even just watching MasterChef, but Australia is full of so many different cultures. We're such a diverse country. Um, and in so many ways, like in my daily life, I've been exposed to different cultures, whether it be like food or music or art or sports, like here in Australia. So, I'm not going to say that we're perfect, but we definitely like have a lot of tolerance and respect for the different cultures in our society. And it's just, I think it represents, it sort of, you can see it in a lot of Australians, like we're very laid back, very relaxed, easygoing, down to earth, like you said. But I think having that experience and being around so many different cultures like really grounds you. And for me, made it a point to not look at people differently because of their outward appearance, to really look at their personality and their kindness, and to treat people with respect that way. So I think it makes all of us so grounded and so kind to one another.
It's nice to see that even though you really have lived your life entirely there in Australia, uh, your values are still very much Filipino. Kindness, respect. Yeah. So I'm curious to ask, how much is Australian in you, and what are those things that are Filipino in you?
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. I mean, you can already pick up my accent. Australians have weird accents. um, we are very like easygoing, like you said. Um, yeah, it's tough. Like I feel at the same time very Filipino. Like I love my Filipino food. Um, Always having, like you said, respect for one another, especially like your elderly like family members and everything like that. um Sometimes, yeah, it's tough for me to even navigate. I don't really know where I stand sometimes. So much of my heart is like in the Philippines. um uh, and maybe it's I think it's like a good thing. I think it's definitely a blessing to be so like to be exposed to different cultures. Really like makes you more open to things, more open-minded, like I said. Yeah, I don't know, it's tough. I wish I could speak more Tagalog. That's one thing I will probably try to learn during this lockdown experience. Hopefully I can work on my Tagalog. um, But yeah, I guess I'm just a mixture, a fruit salad of like Filipino qualities and traits and Australian.
So other than being not able to speak in Filipino fluently, you think you're getting the best of both worlds?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Um, like it's so different. Like when you're like a huffy, you gather different things from different cultures, like what I see from my Australian family and my Australian Filipino family as well. You gather different qualities and traits, and I think it can be like quite a really like unique and beautiful thing. It's just a mixture of those both things, um, but also just like a representation of like our world and how intertwined we are with different countries and whatnot. Like we're kind of a product of that.
Okay. You said it yourself, you're a halfie. Have you, I want to ask this, have you experienced some sort of racial discrimination or whatever form of discrimination while growing up or living there in Australia?
Like I've been very lucky. I haven't experienced it personally myself. Um, but in saying that, like Australia is not perfect as well. We still have, so many societal issues with like the indigenous people here in Australia that is still an ongoing like issue for us. Um, and I try my best to like support them and do what I can. But yeah, I personally like I haven't experienced any racist like actions or behaviors towards me. But yeah, it's just such a challenging and difficult time right now with everything with the pandemic and then what's going on in America.
Now that you're mentioning it, what are your thoughts about the whole thing
Yeah,
exploding right in front of our screens with everything
yeah.
that's going on from the US, in the US?
Mm. It's just so heartbreaking to see um, what like that it's still such a prevalent issue in America. Um, and it's just like heartbreaking, and I think Will Smith said that it's like racism isn't getting worse, it's just being recorded more. And I think in the best ways, that's been able to unite so many of us um, on this matter, not just people in America, but all over the world. Like people are protesting on this matter because it's being seen more. And rightfully so, like change just needs to come to America. And I hope that, you know, they can do so peacefully. But it's just such a heartbreaking moment right now. Um, Difficult time, and my heart goes out to all the people who are affected by it. I think, it should be a time to reflect and to understand like our privileges and why people of color are hurting, and to recognize that and to support them and to come together. So it's it's such a difficult time, but you know, I might never have experienced it myself, but I'm here to support the cause because it's just a fundamental right. Like everyone deserves to be treated equally, and with respect. I always say that respect is such an important um, aspect in everything in life, whether it be in like racism or like with Mother Earth and everything like that. If we have respect, then we'll treat each other with more love, more kindness, and more tolerance of everyone and our differences.
Nice answer.
Mm.
I think it really resonates you well. This issue kind of resonates you well because growing up biracial or a halfie there
Mm-hmm.
in Australia kind of makes you feel attached to the issue.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we're living in a very tough time,
Yeah,
and
I
quite
pray,
questionable values.
yeah,
Yeah.
I pray that this that they'll be able to find an answer peacefully. But it's just, yeah, it's a crazy time right now. But I'm really thinking of the people who are affected, and I'm praying for them, and I'm thinking of them, and I'm, here to support them as much as I can.
Hearing at all your answers, you still seem to be very humble, kind-hearted, despite what you have accomplished in a pageant like Miss Earth 3 years ago. You could have probably, changed your ways, but you have remained humble, sweet to everyone, and I'm feeling that vibe from where I'm sitting right now.
Mm.
So why? What is that a Nina trademark that will never change forever?
Definitely. I think like it's so engraved in me, and I think it's because of, I guess, being so privileged, like living in Australia. I've been so lucky. I've had access to good healthcare and everything like that, good education. But then learning about my mom's history and where she grew up, and the Philippines has, like, and being exposed to it at such a young age. Like, I was traveling to the Philippines before I could even walk. And we would go back like almost every year to the Philippines, and to really see the disadvantaged people there, and to see just everything that goes on there. I think that's so well engraved in me that I don't think will ever change. And I think maybe it's a Filipino trait, but definitely it's something my mom has always engraved into me, is to be humble, to always give thanks when good things come our way, and yeah, to always respect one another.
Yeah. By the way, where is your mom from here in the Philippines?
Yeah, so
Which province?
she grew up in Mandaluyong, but her
Mandaluyong.
province is from Nueva Ecija. Um, and then, like, later on, my grandma moved to Cainta. So when I go to the Philippines, I see my family in Cainta most of the time. But yeah, it's my mom tells me stories about her, like, upbringings in the Philippines, and it's so sad, but she was so lucky and so privileged, and she worked so hard to get where she was, that it's a real inspiration to me as well.
I've been noticing you since we started this interview. You kind of have good skin, or is it just good filter?
Good skin.
Yeah. No, no,
I
no. I think
think.
I don't know. I don't know. Or is it just no? I just you still look good. No, my point is you still look good
Oh,
three
thank you.
years after almost winning Miss Earth. Do you think? How do you maintain? How have you been maintaining your looks and keeping yourself fit? Because you still look as good as the day you competed 3 years
Yeah.
ago.
um So, I guess, like, just living a healthy lifestyle is so important. I try to get enough sleep, although that's really hard as a student to get at least 7, 8 hours of sleep every day. But I try my hardest to get enough sleep. I'm always drinking lots of water. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you probably especially when I talk so much, my mouth gets so dry. So I was like, I have to bring a water bottle. Um, but also just eating really healthy. Like, I love eating my veggies so much. Most days I will try to just, like, go meat free if I can, but most days I'm just eating lots of veggies, hydrating, um, and Yeah, I don't know, just trying to, when I can, like meditate or have moments of like gratitude, write down 3 things I was grateful for. And I think like being healthy like inside as well and mentally, and being and having gratitude can also just resonate in your beauty and everything on the external side of things. So just overall just being grateful, happy, positive, and living a healthy lifestyle um, has been like my key tips. Yeah, and I guess my skin has been pretty lucky recently because of lockdown, and I'm not wearing as much makeup. um, I think my skin is like loving that as well. But yeah, it really just comes down to lifestyle, and like definitely working out as much as you can is just so good for like mentally and physically. I like, yeah, I love working out, so I definitely recommend all those tips.
I see.
Not
I
being
thought
too stressed out as well.
I want to say something, but I'll just hold my tongue.
Okay. You can tell me later.
Yeah. Being an aesthetic clinic endorser a few years ago, or is it still ongoing?
No, so that was my contract ended like last year with Dome Care. Yeah.
Uh, so, being an aesthetic clinic endorser, would you like to further your career here in the Philippines?
I'm definitely like open to it, definitely for sure. If work comes my way, I'm always so um, grateful for it. Um, I right now like my priority is definitely like studying at the moment. But when I can, I'm in the Philippines, and um, I love working there in the Philippines, meeting the people and stuff like that. So I'm definitely like open to doing more work in the Philippines. I wish like again, like I was like fluent in Tagalog so that it would make it a little easier to get work. But yeah, I'm definitely like open to it on the side. Of course, like still studying and stuff.
If ever you decide to come here, I feel like there will be some career opportunities waiting for you.
Mm.
You'll
Mm-hmm.
just probably have to take up a lot of Filipino Tagalog lessons to get you by if you really want to strengthen your career longevity here in the Philippines. So, if ever
Yeah.
you if given a chance, what kind of which aspect of the entertainment industry are you interested to pursue?
Um, like definitely like modeling or hosting would be, I think, a lot of fun. Um, the acting, I don't really know if I would be good at it. I've done like TV commercials in the past, but not like teleseries or anything like that. They're a lot of work from what I've heard. It's very long hours and lots of training that goes behind it. But yeah, I guess like if an opportunity did arise, I would be more than happy to like take it and use it as a challenge to learn Tagalog and everything like that. So I'm working on it. I've got a little like Tagalog dictionary with me at home, so I'm trying to learn it, but I think I need to start watching the teleseries or something like that so I can pick it up a bit quicker.
Okay, last question. What's next
Mhm.
for you?
What's next? Oh, you'll have to stay tuned.
Do you
um,
have plans of joining an international pageant in the near future?
yeah, I mean, there's definitely still time for me. Like, I'm only 23, so I've still got 4 or 5 years to think about it. I think there's still a lot of learning for me to do. Like, when I won my title in Miss Earth, like I was only 20 years old, so I was still a baby. So I can use that definitely as like a learning tool, and a learning experience. But I think if I ever wanted to join again, there's still a lot of learning to do, and just gaining more and more confidence in myself and everything like that. So I'm like open to the idea. I'm not closing the door to it entirely. I just want to like finish my course first, my degree, and then probably be open to joining a pageant. Yeah.
So is it Miss Universe, if ever?
I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. It also depends, like, if I can still maintain my body and my looks by the time I'm ready to join. We'll see. Yeah.
If ever, let's for the sake of let's say a hypothetical situation. If ever you're gonna join one in the near future, which country will you be representing?
Mm.
I mean, which national pageant would you be representing there in Australia or here in the Philippines?
Yeah. That it's so tough.
Have you
Like
thought about it?
I have, yeah. It's so tough because so much of my heart belongs in the Philippines. I love it there. I really wish that I could like represent the Philippines, but there's still like the logistical side to it. Like, I only have an Australian passport, so there's that side that's like stopping me. I know there's ways to get around it, but definitely like I'm open definitely to the idea of one day representing the Philippines, definitely, in another international pageant. It just, if it comes my way, it comes my way. Um, if there's an opportunity for me to represent the Philippines, I would love to.
We're surely gonna wait for that day to arrive.
You'll have to
But
stay
for the mean,
tuned.
yes, we'll be keeping tabs of you by following you
Yes.
closely on social media. So, but for the meantime, can you give a message to all your fans and supporters who have been there with you from the very beginning of your Miss
Yes.
Earth journey?
Definitely. Like all my earthlings, like thank you so much. I know it's been already 3 years since I entered the competition, but I still feel the love and support even to this day. So I'm so grateful for everything and everything that I've learned, everything you've given to me as well. Also the Miss Earth international company and Miss Earth Australia as well, the organization. I'm so grateful for that opportunity they've given me. And the work that they're doing is so amazing. So if you can, please support the Miss Earth Australia Facebook page or Instagram, because they're doing some really good activities to reach out to the public and to those that need it the most. And obviously, like my friends and family, my parents are such a big driving force to like motivate me to be better and to do well and succeed. So they've always pushed me to do my best, and I'm so grateful for them. I've got Hector Kalara as well for supporting me.
Oh,
Um, and yeah, all my friends and family, thank you.
on that note, thank you so much for gracing our interview tonight, Nina. I
Oh.
know it's already almost 10 p.m. over there, but thank you so
Yeah.
much
No,
for
thank you to
really
you as
taking the time.
well.
Oh, no
Thank
problem.
you.
And for you beauty queens, I'll really glad do
I
it gladly with all my heart.
I heard that it was your birthday like a couple weeks ago. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Happy belated birthday. I hope it was a special day. I hope you were still able to celebrate, even though like you guys are in quarantine and lockdown and stuff. But I hope it was still a special day, and hopefully we can, whenever I see you next, we can celebrate.
Hopefully they're in Australia. Fingers crossed.
Yes, you need to come.
I
It's been
know.
too
I've been here.
long.
I've been hearing a lot of good stories about Sydney, good feedback about Sydney, and everything
Mm.
that I've been seeing in Melbourne, all those top of the line restaurants,
Oh, we
Michelin
are
star
such a
restaurants
like
there.
we're such foodies here in Australia. We love our food. Um, like that's been like such a hard part as well with lockdown is not being able to like eat out and everything like that because it's such a big part of our culture and socializing here in Australia. So you need to come and try the food here. It's amazing.
And it's a surprise that you're not even gaining weight. You still look as slim as ever.
Oh, it's all about balance, sissy, you know. It's
Balance.
about like, you know, you got to treat yourself every now and then, but to maintain it, you have to like live a healthy lifestyle, eat well, but treat yourself every now and then. Yeah.
By the way, would you know when Miss Earth Australia is holding its edition this year?
I haven't heard any news like recently, especially with the whole COVID situation. Um, I'm not sure like how it will work out as well with the like policy government policies and stuff like that. So I'm not entirely sure as to when we'll be able to host the event again. But definitely if you follow like the Facebook page or their Instagram, they always release like information there. So that's probably the best place to go to check it out.
All right, thank you so much, Nina. It has been a
Thank you as
wonderful.
well.
Yeah, I've had a wonderful time interviewing you.
Yeah. It's been so fun.
I know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into our interview. Thank you for joining us today. This is Adam Henato, and it has been a pleasure doing this interview with Miss Nina.
Aw.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
I hope you guys had a great time listening to us. And good night over there. Bye, guys. Thank you,
Good
Nina, once
night.
again.
Bye.
Flying kisses from Manila.
Yes.
Bye.
Hope you catch it. Cute.
Bye, Nina.
Bye.
Take care.